Hello there, and welcome to another Starfield ship review. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the Responder, or in my case, the Responder 2. So the number that accompanies the name indicates the tier of the ship. So the lower the tier, or the higher the tier, the better the module's stats. So for instance, this tier 2 has an A-class reactor of 23. The tier 1, the reactor will be lower, as will the shields and some of the other features. Aesthetically, though, the ships will be the same for the most part. So, as the name, the name kind of suggests a little bit, but this, you guys might have seen this ship out in Freestar Collective territory. This is one of the vessels that the Freestar kind of navy. The Freestar don't really have a navy, but this is like the Freestar kind of like system security fly. It's either this or the Ranger. It's a pretty cool looking ship. It's a mixture of Shroud Eklund and Tayo and Deimos. It's kind of an amalgamation of all sorts of ships, which is like kind of interesting. It's clear that the Freestar Collective, they have Hope Tech as their main, like manufacturer. You'd assume that they would have used Hope Tech vessels for, their combat roles, but no. So anyway, let's look at the stats. So it's got a fuel at 275, which is really, really good. Anything above 200 is phenomenal. If you have anything under, it gets a bit tricky and you have to start hopping. It's got a hull of 604, which isn't bad for an A-class vessel, especially one like this. It's quite sleek. It's got a cargo capacity of 410, which isn't bad. Again, it's a combat vessel. It's not amazing, but it's not bad by a stretch of the imagination. It's got an A-class reactor with 23 power. It's not bad. Again, I keep saying that a lot, but obviously there is better reactors you could swap out for the top tier A-class reactor, the Spheromac, which is like 33 power if you wanted to squeeze as much power as possible. We'll see in the video when we do a flight test how the power handles. It looks like it'll handle okay. It's got a crew of 3, which is not too bad for an A-class. You could upgrade that a little bit if you add a control station. It's got a jump range of 16 light years, which is incredibly low. Like, that's the lowest you can get. Considering the highest jump range of the game is about 30, or it is 30, not about. This is very low. Which is kind of funny, because sometimes you come across, like, the Freestar and these ships out in the middle of nowhere, like, miles. I say miles. But that's... light years would be the more accurate term. Light years from, like, their home systems. And yeah, they're just kind of trucking. I don't know how they got there, because they won't get there with that jump drive. It's got a shields of 520, which isn't too bad. The max shields for an A-class is around 800-900, so only about 300 off. You could obviously upgrade that. That shield on the right, I know you can upgrade that to 860. That's this... I think that's... I'm not sure of the name of it, but I know the max level is like 860. It's got 2 weapons. It's got particle cannon there, and it's got an EM weapon. So, not very much in the line of weaponry, but then particles are pretty decent. This cost me 94,800. Now, obviously, the price may vary depending on the tier of the vessel and also your perks. So I have the perks that decrease my buying cost by the most. I think it's like I'm tier 4. So I'm paying a little bit less. So yeah, your price may vary. So I found this ship here on Neon. Talking to this gentleman. This is the ship service technician in his little hut on Neon. So if you come here, he should sell it. This guy tends to sell... There's Neon here. This guy tends to sell the Freestar ships more so than the ones on Aquila, which is kind of weird. But yeah, if you come here and the ship's not here, I'd recommend going to the Sol system, landing on Mercury, and sitting in another seat in your ship and waiting 24 hours on Mercury, as 24 hours on Mercury equates to about over 2,000 hours in game, and that will reset every single vendor's ship inventory. And just come back here and check again. You might have to do a couple of checks, but you'll eventually get it. Anyway, we're going to really quickly jump to the usual spot and showcase the ship. Alright, here we are in the usual spot. Nice little glamour shot of the vessel there. It's quite sleek, has everything kind of packed in nice and tightly, which is really nice. I'm going to try not to break my leg. And never mind, I broke my leg. Oh no, we just dislocated. We can pop it back in. Got the weapons there on the front. We've got this, this is a Tayo landing gear, I believe. Very interesting design. It's kind of cool. You don't see it on too many ships. And then we have these Taio landing gear here on the back. These are quite cool because the back, these fire off and they match whatever whatever your engine's firing off, they fire off too. So it's kind of cool, although they should give you thrust, but they really don't, which is kind of sad. Bethesda worked on that at least. Anyway, we enter through the Taio entryway. In we go to the responder. So we're immediately greeted by a 1x1 storage room from Taio, I believe. And then if we go up the ladder here, we have another 1x1 storage room with the docking port above. We'll do a teardown at the end of the video, as always. Then behind this door, we have an infirmary. Okay, that's quite interesting. So, the fact that this ship is called the Responder, I initially thought Responder because, you know, like Rangers and stuff, but this very well might be a Responder because it could be like an ambulance, which makes sense given that it is called a Responder. So that's quite cool. So you've got your little pharmaceutical lab there, you've got your research lab there. So I was initially going to be like, I'd strip this out and like, you know, make it a control station here for extra crew, but I actually kind of like this. I'd probably recommend changing the color a little bit, maybe like white and like blue, just to kind of showcase like, don't shoot me, I'm an ambulance. But anyway, and then we have the Shroud Eklund Bridge, really, really nice. You've got your nice views here. You've got your pilot seat there. Co-pilot to your left. The navigation there. I forgot my line, even though I say this every time. You've got your navigation there. Navigator, and then you've got like two little seats here for like if you want to have like weapon operators, or in this case maybe just like extra paramedics for, you know, if you need them. Anyway, we're going to... Oh, there's the pop. Ignore that. That's just how I do my thumbnails. So yeah, it's a really cool ship. Looks really cool. It's quite sleek. I like that section. I think the that landing gear at the front. My guy, you're going to get blown into Kingdom Come. What are you doing there? Will he be there when I try to take off? But I like that front landing gear. It's really, really cool. Anyway, we're going to take it off. See how she floats. I'm just going to see if I can see that guy getting yeeted. Nope. Never mind. He was on the landing pad. I can't see him. Anyway, as you see there, the engines, they look like engines on the bottom, but they're not. So I'm not expecting much in the line of weaponry or anything because, yeah, this ship is basically like an ambulance.
We're spacebound again.
So just as a weapon-wise, power-wise, we have... Wait a minute, I need to get rid of Sam. Sam, if you wouldn't mind going away. Perfect. So, power-wise, we have more than enough power for everything, and then one left over, so we can put that in the grav drive. I have a perk that increases my power by 5. That's why at the bottom there, I'm keeping those 5 power separate. So we've got that single particle weapon, and then the single EMP weapon, which, given that it's a space ambulance, that's not too bad. You know, you've got a little bit to defend yourself, EMP to disable while you run away. So speed test, we have a base speed of 150, which is decent, and then we got a boost speed of 560, which again is not bad. Just want to show you real quick what I mean about that. So if you notice how those bottom engines, they're not actually engines, but they are, which is weird. They like provide no extra thrust from the stats page. Yeah, anyway, we're going to do a quick agility test, so quick pitch. Okay, this pitch is quite quick, which makes sense. It's not a lot to this ship. That's like a 7. We'll do a yaw. That's like a... Okay, that's a bit slower, but probably like a 6, and then a roll. Okay, so it's pretty decent. So we're going to go down to the planet's surface now and do a quick teardown. Alright, so here we are in the teardown. So we've divided it into 3 sections. On the top here, the only habitat module we have is the 110 DP Docker from Deimos. And then in front of it we have the 144mm toroidal reactor from Dogstar A-class with 23 power. Now, I don't think they're selling the toroidal reactors here. Oh no, they are, okay. So we have this one here is the 144M. We can go up to 155M and 166M. So this theme, I believe this is the highest class of the reactor, the highest tier. So this reactor, 23 power, and it's 16,000, almost 17k, and requires Starship Design 2. This one is 26k, so an extra 10k. It gives us 6 extra power, and it requires Starship Design 4. So yeah, like if you want to upgrade, this is your kind of your next of best upgrade. Now obviously you can go, there's more powerful. We have the, where is she? The go-to, the Spheromac DC202, which is an A-class with 33 power. This is more pricey, obviously, and it requires a lot more, but, you know, if you need. And then we have this Titan 350 HE3 tank from Nautilus. This gives 75 fuel. And then the other side, we have this 40S Protector Shield Generator A-class, 520 shield, and 6 power. Now there is a better one, so if we go up here, so it goes up to 60S. So this one here, this is the 40, this is 200, gives 560, and it is 73k or 7,300, and it requires Starship Design 2. This one jumps us up to 810, so an extra, almost an extra 300 shields, 290. And this is more expensive. This is double the price and requires Starship 4. And then we have these two M30 Ulysses Helium-3 tanks. We've got, they give 100 each. And then behind them, we have two of these White Dwarf 1010 engines from Relodyne. They're A-class, 3 power, and 7950 engine thrust, and 2535 maneuvering thrust. So they're not amazing. You could definitely bump them up a little bit if you wanted to. Let me see if we have any here. Oh, where are you? Yeah, so we can go up to, we could go up to 1020, which would give us about an extra 1,000 engine thrust and like an extra 100 maneuvering thrust. So it's just something to think about. And then for the aesthetic pieces, we have this Deimos Spine A4, really cool piece from Deimos. We have the Deimos Cowling 4, and then we have the Deimos Hull A. Now, in the middle of the vessel, we have the Viking CP100 cockpit from Shroud Eklund. Gives us 200 cargo capacity and 4 crew station. Behind that, we have the Shroud Infirmary 2x1, and then behind that, we have the Shroud Companionway 1x1. We have the NG170 grav drive from Nova Galactic, A-class, 9 power, 14 grav jump thrust, which in this configuration gives us 16. Now, I love me some Nova Galactic ships, but this is just not doing it. So I would immediately recommend upgrading this. Grav drives themselves, they're not exactly like we've got this bad boy here. This only requires Starship Design 1. It's twice as expensive, but if we equip it, it instantly gives us 30 light years. So I've already maxed out our light years, which is really good. And then weaponry, we have this, we've got the Supaku 110 GC suppressor from Shinigami. It's A-class, 960 range, 1.5 fire rate, does 36 electromagnetic damage and 6 power. And then we have the Ravager 20 MeV auto electron beam from Lightsight, A-class, 3900 range, 6.65 fire rate, 11 damage to hull and shields, and 4 power. As for aesthetic pieces, we have a pair of these Deimos bumpers. We have 4 there and starboard. And then we have 4 of these Deimos Wing B, 2 on the starboard and 2 on the port. And then we've 2 of these Wing C, 1 on starboard, 1 on port. And then on the bottom floor, we have the Shipbed 200 landing bay from Tayo and the Shroud Companionway 1x1 from Shroud Eklund. We also have the Pinpoint 4G Plus landing gear from Tayo. And then we have 2 Pinpoint 3G landing gear, starboard 4 and port 4. And then another set, this is aft port and starboard aft. And then we also have this 100 cm ballast cargo hold from Sexton Shield System, 210. So yeah, so all in all, like it's a quite interesting ship. Obviously, like it's meant to be a, like an ambulance ship. Like if it was up to me, I'd probably make it. I'd make it a bit more ambulance looking. I want to go red, but I'm not going to go red for the simple reason that all the combat vessels in the game are also red. And I feel like it'd look a bit... So if we make it... Just make it a nice blue. So even something like that, like, you know, would make it look a bit more ambulance-y. It's a cool concept. Obviously, like, in-game, there's no, like, missions to, like, transport people. There is the clinic, which is a space station that houses, like, you know, people who need help with sick and stuff, and there is lots of medical facilities. You can kind of do a couple of side quests with them, but there's nothing major. There's no, like, missions in the game where you can transport sick people. It would be really cool. Eventually, we'll probably get a mod for it. But so until now, this ship is kind of useless in, like, that role of being an ambulance. But it's still quite a cool ship. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think of these sort of ships. You know, like, they're designed for, like, a specific purpose, like an ambulance or, like, a drop ship for troops. That, like, they're there for lore reasons, but obviously they don't have an actual role in gameplay currently. Do you guys like those sort of ships? Like, would you guys like rocking around in a space ambulance? Or would you just, like, kind of steer clear of it or maybe retrofit it to something else? And as always, don't forget to subscribe if you like this sort of content, and don't forget to check out the other reviews. Thanks for watching, guys.